Hello, my name is Henry. I learned meditation in the Himalayas, and I've spent the last 8 years helping people to establish a daily meditation practice. Today's session is on: is there a right way to quiet my mind? We'll touch base on a few points on this topic, and then we'll dive into a guided meditation to round things out. First thing I'll touch base on is cultural misconceptions. There is, at least in the all over the world, we all have our ideas about things. Meditation, I would say probably the epicenter being India. Everywhere else, and even in India, everyone has their own ideas and this and that. In the West, primarily, which is the misconception I'll address from here, which, in my opinion, the Western opinion is the uh, worldwide opinion with things like social media, the internet, and things. We're all exposed to and experiencing the same information. That was one of the reasons why I went to India, because I wanted to um, get a grassroots or a foundation in meditation from the source. And that way I wasn't feeding so much into what was being fed to me, but I went and sought out um, proper instruction. So the first thing is cultural misconceptions. So in the West, or in the popular culture, meditation is promoted as this thing of perfect still, perfect calm, um, bliss, whatever um, phrase or connotations people want to put on meditation. Um, when in reality, I could surmise meditation. I would separate it into two parts. Um, the word, I would say, I would convert it to concentration. So when you are meditating or attempting to meditate, the goal of meditation would be yoga, as in not yoga as we know it in the West, as in what would actually be considered asana, the physical movement or the physical postures. This is not yoga, this is actually asana, which is one of the forms or one of the expressions, or in the rungs of yoga. This is a rung, not yoga in its entirety. And then how it's presented in the West, it's been adjusted a bit, but for the most part, it is intact. But this is asana. But yoga means union or to yoke. So basically, uh, looking at yoga as in forming a union with the, let's say, for lack of a better word, the self or the higher self. So when we look at meditation, the goal would be to achieve this union. In order to do this, it takes quite a lot of practice and quite a lot of concentration. But until you reach that point where you're able to form that union, the practice of doing that is also called meditation. So while you are meditating, you are concentrating, and this focus is narrowing. For example, if you have something like a magnifying glass um, in the sun, where you can concentrate the beam of light into one focal point to where it can start a fire with the beam of light that is very concentrated. So if I can say, um, the concept that I would want you to take from this is, in if you look at your mind like the magnifying glass, and you want to take your thoughts like the ray of light and you want to concentrate them. So, whatever you want to focus on, you want to concentrate that beam or that focus of light and burn through whatever it is to gain union with whatever it is that uh, or you would gain union to connect, as in to yoke. So in this instance, when it comes to cultural conception, I would say think of meditation is as the practice of concentrating. And as you concentrate more and more, gain more experience, gain more force or power in your ability to be able to focus or concentrate, you can take something that is very broad and really hone it in and focus it. So think of your mind as something that right now is very broad, just like that magnifying glass, and with all the light scattered all over it evenly. And eventually, over time, you really pinpoint this, and you can actually have a laser of a mind. So I would say that would be a misconception or cultural misconception, as in not really understanding that the point of meditation isn't necessarily to quiet the mind. If you have a focal point, like the breath, if you use mantra or any other type of focal point, that would be the goal, would be to concentrate the mind, concentrate the thought process into that particular thing. So if you are concentrating or focusing on the breath, you would want to, instead of having your thoughts scattered and jumbled all around, you would want to not have any thoughts, and eventually your only thought would be on the breath, and likely simply just observing the breath. From my experience, I have moments here and there where I'm able to accomplish this. This has taken some time, but the process to getting here has been beneficial in many other ways. So being able to concentrate and focus is what you're attempting to do. And you don't start out there. I mean, we're all scattered to a certain degree. So efforting on a regular, a daily basis, getting to the point where we can start to narrow the scope of our focus, of our concentration. This is the goal. So being able to focus, being able to concentrate, this is the concept that I would like you to take from this segment of the topic, and simply understand that it's not, the goal isn't to quiet your mind, so to speak. The goal is to be one pointed on your on whatever you are concentrating on, whatever your focal point is, being one pointed on that focal point. The next thing I'll touch base on is um, beginner's doubts. When I first started meditating, I had no idea what was going on. I mean, I read a book and then I tried to meditate for 15 minutes. Very interesting experience. Um, and I felt, or I would say I felt the effects of it, but the effects actually extended even into my night's sleep. As in, I meditated that afternoon, early evening, and then hours later, going about my daily routine, and then going to bed. But I recognized after waking up that my night of sleep was different. So this got my attention. Um, so I was aware of the effect, but not fully aware as in what is this doing. What I knew, I felt like, hey, this was something that was beneficial for me. I felt like I got a better night's sleep, so that piqued my interest. But with that in mind, um, we all start in different places, depending on how long you meditate or how frequently you meditate. You may experience different results or may not experience anything. But I can pretty well guarantee you that something is happening. It is like if you go to the gym and you lift a weight. something's happening. Some muscles, some microfibers are tearing, and then they'll recover, and then you'll be a little bit stronger. This is the same with meditation when it comes to your ability to be able to focus and or concentrate. The more you practice it, you build this, so to speak, muscle up in that way. So if you are experiencing doubts, it's okay, it's normal. The point is to press forward, to continue. Um, know that it is working. It may be working in a way that is very subtle, too subtle for you to currently be aware of. But as you continue to meditate, your ability to, let's say, assess or ascertain subtle changes will also improve. So as you meditate on a regular basis, your ability to be able to gauge the effectiveness of your meditation will also increase. So if you are having doubts, perfectly normal, perfectly fine. Continue having them if you want, but at some point you will recognize that you have gained in the ability to be able to focus or to be able to concentrate or to be able to quiet your mind. And then I'd say focusing on the process and not being um, fixated on the outcome. So the practice of meditation, uh, concentrating your mind, focusing your mind, this is the practice of meditation. So anytime that you are, um, if your mind is loud or busy or active, however you'd like to describe it, you are still meditating. So please don't be confused. Um, I'd say let go of your doubts if that's possible for you at this time. If you sit down and you sit down for 2 minutes and your mind is just all over the place for 2 minutes, and let's say you sit down for a week, every day, 7 days, you sit down and your mind is all over the place for 2 minutes. I promise you, at the end of those 7 days, your mind is more focused, more concentrated than it was on the first day. And it's just one day at a time until at some point you will personally experience the effects that your practice, your consistent practice, has been having. So, sticking with it, consistency, and just accepting that whatever is happening in your meditation at this time is simply that, just what is happening in your meditation. Some of my sessions are quieter or more focused, and other sessions I have are more distracting or um, non focused. No two sessions are the same. So just getting in there, sitting down, and allowing your mind to just go through its process. Um, we can force our minds into doing things, but it is much better, in my experience, to gentle the mind, as in to set a habit, and the mind will form a habit, it'll form a groove, and it'll fall right into that groove every time. So, forming that habit, carving out that groove so that when you sit in it, it just goes and does what it does. And eventually it will just go to your point of concentration. So, this is the point. So, just stick with it. You got it. And now we'll do a guided meditation to try to tie everything in together. So, if you're not already, find yourself in a comfortable seated posture, spine erect, head facing forward, eyes closed, mouth closed, chin parallel to the ground. Bringing our awareness to the tips of the nostrils and simply observing the flow of air as it passes the tips of the nostrils as we inhale and we exhale. We exhale and we inhale. If your mind is quiet right now, very good. If your mind is noisy right now, very good. This is the process. Everyone's process is different, but also the same, because the mind will begin to focus a little more every time you practice. So being consistent, no matter where your mind is, will eventually bring it to your point of focus. Bringing your awareness back to the tips of the nostrils if it has strayed from there. If you're finding difficulty focusing on the breath of the nostril, please use my voice as an anchor and hold on to it. And now we'll deepen the breath, following the flow of air up the nostrils and down the esophagus into the lungs, filling up the lower lobes of the lungs, the abdomen region as we inhale, observing the navel region expand as we inhale and contract as we exhale. We try to keep our awareness on the navel region, making sure that we're breathing from the diaphragm. The navel expands as we inhale. The navel contracts as we exhale. Now we'll follow the flow of air as the navel contracts and the lungs compress the air back up the esophagus, out through the nostrils, keeping our awareness of the breath now at the tips of the nostrils. Use my voice if it is helpful. Now we'll bring our awareness to the feet. We'll relax the feet. We'll relax the lower legs. We'll relax the upper legs. We'll relax the pelvis and the hips. We'll relax the stomach and the abdomen. Relax the chest and the heart center. We'll relax the shoulders. We'll relax the upper arms. We'll relax the lower arms. We'll relax the hands. Relax the fingers. Relax the hands. Relax the lower arms. Relax the upper arms. Relax the shoulders. Relax the neck. Relax the jaw and the corners of the mouth. Relax the cheeks. Relax the eyes. Relax the forehead. If your mind is quiet, very good. If your mind is busy, very good. We are exactly where we need to be in our practice. Let's bring our awareness back to the tips of the nostrils. Now we'll gently open the eyes. Namaste.